So today we are going to continue from where we stopped discussing the civil service. We're going to discuss how the civil service is controlled. We're going to look at the challenges and problems of the civil service and then describe the Civil Service Commission, right? So how is it controlled? Number one, we have the public control. So the member of the public can sue the civil service. You know, they are suing the executive government. They are not suing the president or the governor, but they are suing the civil service. So also, any individual worker whose right is violated can also seek redress. So the civil service is suable. Legislative control. The legislative organ of government can also control the executive, by extension, the civil service. They can summon ministers who head civil service departments, summon them to the legislature and quiz them if there are issues of misappropriation of funds, etc., financial mismanagement, and the likes. So we also have internal control. The civil service can also set up a mechanism to control the activities of its members and regulate them as well. We also have the judicial control. The judiciary can declare laws or policies made by the civil service null and void if it is not in line with the Constitution. The press, who we regard as the watchdog, and also the mouthpiece of the people, can also expose corrupt practices in the civil service, right? Now we have the Civil Service Commission. This is an agency within the civil service that recruits, promotes, transfer, train, discipline, or dismiss members of the civil service. Let's look at some problems and challenges being faced by the civil service. Number one, frequent change of government can affect them, right? Frequent change of government can really affect it. Between 1960 and 2015, we have over how many? We have 16 administrations. But if you go and look at countries like USA, they have been having their government system for a long time, but we have changed to military rule. We've come back, we've changed again, and the likes. Also, political interference, when the government in power interferes in the activity of the civil service, doesn't allow them to run their affairs, appoints people based on tribal views to run the civil service, like putting square pegs in round holes. Tribalism, here you will see things like government in power appointing members, people from their tribe, and fill them in the civil service, right? So it's bad. You are not appointing people based on merits or their capacity, right? It can lead to things like bribery and corruption, nepotism, etc. Another problem of the civil service is bureaucracy, which is the negative aspect of bureaucracy is called red tapeism. Remember, bureaucracy is the process, the procedure for getting things done in the civil service. On the other hand, this procedure can also slow down the decision-making process in the civil service. We call it red tapeism, right? It slows down the decision-making process. Now, the government cannot actually respond to emergencies properly. Now, negative attitude to work, if they are not motivated enough, which can be attributed to poor conditions of service, right? So these are some of the challenges facing the civil service. Indiscipline. You hear people say that if you go to the civil service by 10 o'clock in the morning, workers are just coming. By 2 or 3 in the afternoon, they are gone. Indiscipline. So let's look at some the Civil Service Commission. So the Civil Service Commission is the body set up by the Constitution to manage the affairs of the civil servants. They are set up to manage the affairs of the civil service. For example, they are charged with recruiting, training, discipline, promoting, even retirement of members of the civil service. And they are headed by a chairman who is appointed by the president. So the state civil service here in Nigeria is appointed by the governor of that state, while at the federal level is appointed by the president, right? So what do they do? What are their functions? I've already mentioned some of them. They recruit members of the civil service. They are in charge of promoting civil servants to the next level. They discipline members who don't meet the criteria or who have fallen short of the target. They also dismiss erring members. They also retire members who have worked for the given requisite age, right? They retire them. Now, what's ombudsman, right? It's part of the civil service. It's an institution established to investigate and deal with cases of maladministration, corruption, unfair treatment of public office or public officers. So this is an institution set up to investigate and deal with issues like corruption, mismanagement of funds and whatsoever in government offices, right? They can also be called the Public Complaint Commission. It began in Sweden for the first time in 1809. I've forgotten the date it came into Nigeria. It's very important to find out that date because you can see it in objective questions, right? So let's see whether we can find out the date. Let's see. Don't mind me. I'm going to like digress a bit. Let's see. In Nigeria, let's see. So the Public Complaints Commission or Ombudsman. I don't know whether I can get the dates here when it came into existence. So let me ask the right question. Okay, when was it founded or established? So 1975, right? So take note of that. You would see it a lot in objective questions in WAEC. So basically, you know what the ombudsman is and what they do. But note this, they can investigate, but they can't penalize, they can't implement. Whatever they get, they can write a report and forward it to the government, to the right appropriate governmental agencies to deal with that issue, right? So this is one of the weaknesses of the ombudsman. So I'm resting my case here. If you have any question, put it in the comment section. If you have any clarification as well, I'll be waiting for you as well.